If you're feeling stuck in the present and looking for guidance, what better person to receive it from than yourself? Today, you'll receive an urgent message from your future self. Today's Pick a Card reading will be talking about the choices, situations, and scenarios in your life that require your immediate attention and action. The advice from your future self is pressing, but also remember that it's a response to your prayers and your desired outcomes. Hey soul family, I'm Psychic Tana Newberry. Welcome to the video and thanks for being here. For notifications on when a new Pick a Card reading is available, or to join me on one of my live psychic reading sessions, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Okay, now it's time to pick a deck. I have 4 decks in front of me, which I'll be showing you in just a moment, but I ask you to take a deep breath with me. Tune into your inner guidance, ask your future self to show up and assist you at this time. Then I can connect and tune into them. And I ask you to select your deck very intentionally. Don't necessarily go for the one that feels like it's the prettiest or whatever, but go with the one that just really draws you, intrigues you. That's usually the best way to get your message. Here we go. Deck 1 is under a double-pointed amethyst crystal. Notice if this deck speaks to you, if you feel a draw towards this deck, but also take a look at the others to be sure. Deck 2 with a green card in the front has a beautiful citrine crystal, a very powerful crystal. Are you feeling drawn to deck 2? Is that your deck? Deck 3 has one of my favorite crystals. It's a huge smoky quartz, kind of a raw point. Notice if you're feeling drawn to deck 3. The last deck, deck number 4, has a double-pointed quartz crystal. Notice if deck 4 is calling to you and if you're feeling the pull here. Now that you've made your deck selection, go down to the timestamps in the comments. You can skip right over to your deck. Oh, hey there, deck 1. All right, here we go. I'm going to be showing you the cards one at a time, and I'm going to be flipping them over one at a time because I do want to take the narrative piece by piece and see what's really going on here. So your future self is with us, and an urgent message about your situation or your present circumstances. The first card is listen with your heart. You are listening to what is being said to you, but you need to listen with a loving heart. So this card is making me feel, I definitely feel that if you're drawn to deck 1, I feel a lot of future selves here communicating to me that they want to talk to you about your environments. Environments a lot of times mean people. It could mean choices you're making for your jobs, your employments, your communities. But I'm already feeling that your future self is talking about the influences around you. I believe the future selves in group in deck number 1 are going to be talking to us about some necessary changes. You know, it's never a good day to make a big change. You know, like it's never a good day to do a breakup or never a good day to clean the garage. But can I say that Spirit is saying, you know, with this opportunity to talk about something urgent, some of the things around you, including people, could use a little bit of clear, like taking a look at it, clarity to see just exactly what and how those things are influencing. This card again says what is being said to you, and it says listen with a loving heart. But what I'm asking is, if you're just listening with a loving heart all the time, but the words that are coming towards you are not super loving, part of taking responsibility is not just receiving everything with love, but it's kind of setting yourself up for maybe a little bit more of a successful exchange. So I do feel that deck 1, again, it's never a good day to make a big relationship change or a big job change necessarily, because the change is just so big. It's like there's a lot to it. But the urgent message is that these things are affecting the scenarios and the outcomes you want looking into the future. Not making these changes today has a cause and effect. And your future self is saying, hey, like, if we're not making these decisions, I don't want to, I'm just sharing with you this future that we have is not as bright as if we urgently look at these things. So let's see where this is headed. The next one is Self-Esteem, Guardian Archangel Michael. I do like this deck. It's clear and to the point without being too ultra spiritual. The self-esteem is talking probably about the nature of why we're looking at the environments that we're in and the people that are surrounding us. Because I'm going to ask you right now, do you have or could you cultivate more of? Be honest. Could you cultivate more of an opportunity to have your surroundings, your communities, your people you interact with, in passing, in exchange, could there be a circumstance where you could up-level that, hypothetically, and the result would actually be that they build you up, that things around you build you up, put you on fire, make you feel passion, make you feel good, make you feel alive. And if anything is not, and maybe it's just one area of your life that you're kind of feeling like your future self is pointing out because everything else is good. And whether it feels like your whole life or just one aspect of it, the point is that I think your future selves are telling me that you're missing out. You're missing out in the present. And I kind of feel this feeling like, hey, if we keep going down this road, I'm in a future that we don't want, right? We don't want this outcome. Please take a look at, yes, you're responsible to receive things with love, but how is it coming at you in the first place? And is it resulting in you feeling good? Is it building you up? Or is it tearing you down? Very, very important. Again, self-esteem, Archangel Michael. And as we know, Archangel Michael is the protector, someone who cuts the cords. So if you do need help cutting cords to things that are not serving you, things that are not building you up, but tearing you down, please do call on Archangel Michael for assistance. The next card is from the Surrender deck, and I love this deck because it always talks about the action step. What do we got to get rid of? Surrender to the magic of who you are. I love it. I will read it. We all have magic in us, even in the mundane aspects of life. Remember that you are a magical being with uniqueness and worth that comes from just being you. So here's the thing. The magic and the situations that are mundane, right? The jobs, the home life, the traveling from one place to another when you commute. All of these things are, they could be just the motions, the mundane, the things that everybody has. But if it's bringing to the table more joy and more love and more self-esteem, all of those mundane things add up to be a huge influence and impact in your life. I believe it's just time for you, Deck 1, to up level and just really take advantage of the opportunities you have now to create the future you're looking for, because it doesn't have to actually feel like a thing or maybe necessarily a goal or an outcome. It feels like the energy you hold. It literally feels like your future self is addressing the frequency in which you will vibe in the future, all things considered. So let's move on. This is the Universe Has Your Back deck. Let's see about this. I don't use this one in readings a lot, so let's see what happens. I let go of the shadow of the past by seeing someone for the first time with eyes of love. Isn't that interesting? We see eyes of love here, and we see listen with the loving heart. So, and again, and my interpretation, just based on the psychic part of this whole bit, not just card reading, but the psychic part, is that, oh gosh, I wish for your exchanges, your mundane things, your every aspect of your life, just get infused with yes, you meet it halfway, you receive with love. But how can you receive it with love when you're feeling crappy and you've cultivated or allowed in your life? And, I'm not saying it's your fault, but up until now, maybe there are some things that don't really put you in the best position to just be vibing high all the time and seeing everything with love. If you're like, Tana, I have a great life, I'm always vibing high, I'm going to say to you that you were drawn to Deck 1. So if this is the message that I'm getting literally, and this is how it's spelling out, I'm going to ask you, can you dig deeper? Can you dig further? Or pay attention to moments that will occur between now and the future, where this advice comes in necessary time and need of your scenario. Because maybe you don't need this advice today, but you'll remember it next month when you come up with a roadblock or a situation that breaks you down rather than builds you up. Let's see what else we have. Freedom. Let freedom ring. Okay, you're free to do what you choose. I think what this is telling me is I want to tell you that, you don't have any obligation to anyone or anything. If you're not going to take care of your own frequency, energy, vibe, your makeup, if you're not going to take care of it, I can't imagine anybody else would care more than you and take care of it for you. Yes, we have loved ones, and there are people that sacrifice for us even when we don't do for ourselves. I'm not exactly talking about that, because you may have that in your life, and that is a beautiful thing. But I'm really talking about just in general, the earth doesn't always seem to work out where it really makes us feel like it owes us something. And we have to earn a lot of things a lot of times. We have to create the desired outcomes we want. We're responsible for our future. So freedom is part of what I see in the future for you if these things are taken care of. Free to be you. I'm hearing free to be me. We're free to be me, which just means anything you sort of desire to feel, not just have. The having comes after. Do, the have, it kind of comes after. But the feel, the where your mindset and your heart is actually at in every moment, you'll feel so much freer than you do at this moment, or this advice being for the near future if you get stuck. Freedom is the outcome that we're desiring for you. And finally, the last card is an animal spirit. Love this deck. It is the skunk spirit. I love it. The skunk, how cute is that? It says, know your worth. See, here's the thing. I'm hearing, I don't know exactly what they're going to get at here, but I'm hearing you're worth your weight in gold, right? So it's just a sweet way that Spirit is kind of just making me feel and telling me that, your energy level and your desired outcomes and just your vibe that you keep, it's priceless, because no matter what you have in this world, whether you have all the money in the world or no money, even if you have health or you don't have health, even if you have loved ones or you're lonely, if you have that energy that vibes really high, that is very built up, that has that self-esteem, you have you. And that is really when you have it all. And then you start to kind of attract other things, which is a whole other subject. But when you have you and you are at your highest self and you know your worth, it's like everything else should come second to that. Okay, it should come second to that. So deck one, if this was your reading, thank you so very much. I hope you take this to heart, whether you need this information now or you'll need it sometime in the future. You've now heard your message, and your future self encourages you. Please be mindful about the company and the obligations and the jobs and people and communities you keep. Make sure they build you up, not tear you down. Have your self-esteem, know your worth, and let's make the future one that vibes really, really high. Thanks, deck one. Deck two with the citrine crystal. Welcome to your reading. I am going to put our crystal down right at the top of my table, and I'm going to flip these cards over one at a time. I'm not going to look at them either. I'm going to look at them with you so that we can get the narrative one piece at a time. Your first card. Oh, can I hear it? Can I get a shout out for physical health? Okay. Deck two, let's see where this goes, because the first card that comes up is nutrition. The card actually says you conduct healing work with your culinary skills, and I appreciate that message. But in a reading like this, where we're talking about advice from your future self, and the first card we pull is nutrition, y'all, your future self is talking about the state of your physical body. It's talking about health. It's talking about decisions you're making. Are you being active? Could you do it more? Is there anything you can do to kind of check up on your body, check in with your body? Are you on a weight loss journey? I'm not saying your worth is defined or anything is defined by the aspects of your physical body, but I will tell you, your physical body is part of you. It's an extension of your soul, of your energy. It is the vehicle in this lifetime for you to accomplish and do the things you want to do. So it is very important and imperative that we feel connected to our body, and that it's an extension of the desires and wishes and prayers and things that we want to occur. It's very, very important. So I'm going to ask you real quick to tune into your body, and maybe it's after you do this pick a card reading that you really take a moment to just spend 3 minutes listening to your body and asking yourself, if my body was giving me a message and asking me something, what would it be? Because a lot of times I find that when I tune into someone's body, even my own, when I tune into my own body, I'll give it 3 minutes. It'll just feel so desperate to talk to me, because we don't always listen and honor our bodies. We put them through the ringer rather than honor it and sort of give back to it. So whatever this is for you, I'm not going to go into, whether it is weight loss, or whether it's making sure that you're healthy and safe or whatever. I'm not going to do that. And it's not basically saying like, oh my gosh, you're in so much trouble. It's just identifying that this is the area that the advice will be coming in today. The next one is an animal spirit card. It says the canary spirit, sing your own song. What I'm immediately feeling for this is that, you may have sensed some frustration trying to care for your body and realizing that certain things that work for others that seem like they would obviously work for you, for whatever reason, either the outcomes aren't the same or you're not motivated the same way to do those things. It does make me feel like you have to sort of march to the beat of your own drum. I don't know if you're going to find a huge thing that just everybody loves the keto diet, right? This is the type of, I'm not saying this is or isn't your scenario. I'm saying like, how a huge fad about it, everybody loves it. I'm saying that this card suggests that the normal things that work for everybody else might need tweaking for it to work for you. So do get creative and listen and figure out what is a deal breaker, what works for me and what doesn't, because it's just saying you might have to go outside of the lines a little bit. The path that's clearly defined by others is not going to necessarily suit either the outcome, or most likely they're making me feel the actual beginning of it, the adherence to the process, whatever that is. Okay, so do think about being creative and find a way to break the mold, make it work for you. The next card is Demonstrate Love, beautiful card with artwork by Josephine Wall. It says, find out what is important to the people you love and act on it. What's really interesting is it's easier for me. I am much more accountable to others than I am to myself. Meaning that if I'm supposed to do some let's just take the example of body care, because we're talking about the physical body right now. Let's talk about the fact that I had a gym membership for a couple years and never went. I would go on hikes sometimes, so I would never go to the gym until a friend of mine said, Tana, I'm trying to lose weight to be eligible for bypass surgery. I need a workout buddy. Well, then I was going 5 days a week, straight, boom, 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 and going, why? Because what I needed to push me over the hump, what I'm saying, color outside of the lines, was not, just get a membership, or, just do this program or sign up for this thing. It was I figured out that what I needed was an accountability buddy. I needed somebody that it was I was going to let them down if I didn't do the thing, and I cared about them more than me, and it sort of tricked me. So I'm not saying that this is ultimately the healthiest way to approach forever, but I'm saying this because your future self is urgently talking about you finding something that works, and find a way to demonstrate love, get other people involved if that needs to be. Maybe it's accountability, maybe it's service, but your future self is saying, hey babe, we gotta work on this, and so we need to kind of go back to the drawing board and figure out where we need to adjust, because we do need to do it, and consider the influence that others have that you love, or your values and people that you care about. Consider the influence they have over this situation. It could also be, I'm also hearing that if others don't have good habits, it's kind of a combination. I feel for some of you, it might be get them on board, do something together. And the other people, it might be find a new circle, right, for these aspects to be carried out. So you work with that in the way your spirit is speaking to you right now. The next card is exhaustion. That's exactly the state you need to be in before you start a big healthcare kick, right? No, it's not. But this does indicate why you're not taking good care of yourself right now. I mean, this indicates that you're spent. You're completely spent. But remember that when you vibe up your health and when you exercise, remember that it doesn't actually remove vital energy from your life. It builds it. As a guru told me once, he was actually just a personal development guy. He said, we are not, or let me say it this way, an energy factory, a factory that makes energy, an energy place. They don't create energy. They receive it and cultivate it and build it. So it's it's really important to know that when it comes to this exhaustion that you're feeling, on the other side of taking action, the ones that build you up, it doesn't deplete you. It actually adds vital life force to all areas of your life, giving you more juice and more speed, and in accomplishing your goals, and more activity in general in your life, because the exhaustion is flipped upside down. We all get that post-workout feeling where we're like, oh, I'm sore, but dang it, doesn't it feel good? It feels so good. So it also is good for making the right choices. I'm not just going to single this out to be a workout, because that is, yes, very adrenaline inducing, but even anything you do that's healthy and good and positive for your body, this turns in to sort of immediate dividends on your energy level and your vibe. Awesome. The next card, here's a toughie. Surrender denial. Surrender denial. It says, accept people and situations exactly as they are without denying their difficulties. Then you can see things clearly and make the best decisions. I think this is talking about, again, let's take this in the context of what we already have here. The situations and people, they are how they are. Don't deny that they are difficult. Instead, I'm hearing like work around the difficulties. If we were trying to open a door, and it was closed, we would just be stuck doing that all day. But what if we went around the corner and just went to the side of the building versus going through the door? What I'm saying is color outside of the lines with your solution. Take some basic idea that you like and make it work for you. Because I think one of the things I'm getting so strongly about this is that I don't want you to try to do the thing and then fail at it because it wasn't sort of made for you. And then you're looking at it saying you're a failure and you can't do it, or it's beyond you, or it's unobtainable. Because the thing is it's like that is kind of denying. It's like you think the difficulties are the truth when really there's a back door around the corner, okay? So I just want you to think about ways to innovate this, okay? All right, and the last message, this is from the Universe Has Your Back deck. My fearless freedom lights up the world. What I really take from this card is the energy source here. We were talking about the vital life force and the energy, the factory inside of you that generates energy, generates and actually cultivates and manipulates it and moves it and makes it louder and brighter. This is really, really, really clear. It's time to bump up the vitality. Deck 1 talked about vibes, and it was like mindset, attitude, kind of like, where you were at emotionally, mentally. I'm just telling you, this is more like a battery charge. This is vital life force. This is energy. This is what keeps you going, waking you up at 8 and keeping you going to the end of your day, and then feeling like you have the perfect balance of awake and asleep. Wouldn't that be amazing? So I just think that deck 2, if you were drawn to this deck, the message is really, really, really to listen to that body. Take 3 minutes after you watch this video, 3 minutes, and listen to your body and pay attention to what feels like it's in desperation, because our bodies, they don't get enough of our attention. So whatever this is for you, I pray for you that this is an outcome that will come sooner rather than later, because your future self so wants to work with you in creating the body and the energy level and the future that you desire today. If you had what you had today forever, would that be okay with you? And if it's not, it's time to really consider that today may be the day to make the change. Be willing to be willing. That's where I say to start. Be willing to be willing, and just take this message to heart and use it whichever way serves you best. Thank you so much. I'll see you on the next reading. Deck 3, welcome. I've got your Smokey Quartz here. Is this a honkin' crystal or what? It's great. Good choice. I'm going to set that at the top here. I'm going to be flipping the cards one by one and showing them each to you, because I want to look at the narrative in the same order that you'll be receiving it rather than get the whole picture. I really want to take it one step at a time today. So the first card is an animal spirit card. It's not always the most telling, but it will tell us sort of what your future self is armoring you with moving into the scenario that may need to shift or change. So the first one is Dove Spirit, super sweet. Dove Spirit, it says, be peace, be at peace. I do feel, any message that starts out talking about peace, it does sort of indicate that maybe you're in the present moment, you're not feeling at peace, or your spirit in general and your future self is praying for you to find peace so that the future is not affected any longer than it has to be with sadness, darkness, confusion, anything like that. So it's really clear already that your future self wants you to be in a different place with, what am I going to say here? I'm going to say the upsets, the losses, the challenges, the difficulties that you've had in your life, the things that have been hard to change or let go of, sometimes abandonment, okay? These kinds of things. Spirit is coming through and talking about these things as they happened in your life and saying, we would like you to no longer carry the baggage of this into the future and create a future where all of that stuff, it just can't touch you, mind, body, or soul anymore. You truly are at peace and in alignment. Let's see what the next card. What's the next question? No, there's one question. Here's the card. Consider your foundation. You're being asked to look at how committed you are. And it says to love. So whether you feel that that means romantic love to you or just your attitude towards others, meaning is your heart open to others? Are you open for energy exchanges, or are you kind of feeling closed off, like you don't want to be hurt again? Or I do feel that deck 3, you guys, there's just a lot of, I'm not even going to define exactly what it is because I feel that it's so varied for all of you, okay? But it does feel like one way I could describe it is just darkness or baggage. It's not your fault. I'm not saying any of this I mean, maybe some of it's at times because of choices you made, but I'm not implying that everything that is difficult for you that you're going through is necessarily your fault. But there it is. It's occurred. It's happened. I do feel that you're deeply, deeply connected to these things in the past. And it may be because you are very sensitive. It may be because you're an empath. It may be because you're a light worker. And when there is an injustice or there's a hurt in your life and in the world, man, it just knocks you out of your game. You feel it on such a deep level and you're so sensitive. And that's why your future self is saying, babe, how long are we going to decide to carry this? Because it does affect us inside and out. So this consider your foundation is really like, the foundation I feel is like the past, like the foundation of a home, right? Foundation is what is everything built upon. And I feel that we need to make sure it's not sand or it's not shaky or cracked, the foundation. That's why we have to look back at the past. And I do feel that Spirit wants you to build not on the injustices of the past or the hurt of the past, but a new fresh foundation. Let's see what else we have. The next card is Priorities by Master Teachers. It's really interesting as the Master Teacher stands out to me because what I want to say about you, deck 3, is that your future self really does feel a bit like, let's just say your future self is really woke. So this means that you are, like I said, very, very much, it feels the empath, the light worker, the intuitive, the sensitive, because your higher self, can I say, is acknowledging that we had a tough road in this life, and we did it because we are very much dedicated to learning spiritual lessons, helping with some of the universal karma, and collecting sort of like badges in our energy level that mean that we are multifaceted and we understand. And really what it's about is it's about earning unconditional love, putting yourself in circumstances, working through it, seeing the other side of it, and coming into full peace and balance in love, even through horrible things that could occur. So what I want you to know is this card Priorities is talking again about the foundation. What are we going to put first? And what they're saying is, before you go any further, beautiful light worker capable of so much, please make sure that you are doing justice to just how powerful you are by taking a look at the past and figuring out what we need to do to heal, to close, to come full circle with those things and move elsewhere than somewhere that can touch us, okay? We can know it, feel it, remember it, but we don't want it to affect and deliberately create our outcomes out of reaction to those scenarios. Again, this card is surrender to peace. Peace, peace, peace. Let's see the message. Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy the inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. I do feel that your future self is giving me the thumbs up that you will find peace. So rather than just tell you an action step, like, let's clean out the emotional closet. But I also feel that, I always see this in my mind when spirit, whoever's speaking to me, if they go like this, it means I promise. That's what I see when they say that. And so I see your future self sort of saying, I promise that we do get there. I promise that we do find peace. I promise that it comes full circle. And I promise that we do heal and get to that place of unconditional, compassionate love that is authentic, that is in alignment. And that's how the vibe gets raised. But it doesn't happen by accident. We are here doing this spiritual work. The Universe Has Your Back deck I have today. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are, natural. Miracles are natural. This, which really stands out to me, is the mindful moments throughout the day. Sometimes it doesn't, the biggest changes, the biggest shifts don't occur because we go to therapy for 1 hour a week. Sometimes the biggest changes and the biggest shifts in releasing the past, feeling peace, is just by taking a breath. It's just in every little moment you get overwhelmed, taking a breath and finding your 0 point, coming back into alignment. So it's mindful moments throughout the day. It's not just big moves. It's little tiny regular spot check moves into aligning with the resonance of peace. So please take care of yourself, both big and small moments. And the last card here, I'm not surprised, is sensitivity, because you are my psychics, you are my empaths, you are my light workers. These things hit you harder than most because you feel on a very, very deep level and you relate. And you're very conscious, you're very aware, you're very awake. So when these things happen, they are very vivid and real for you. You're becoming more sensitive and need to make changes accordingly. I consider this message to be the exact way to articulate what all of this is about. Your future self is saying you're becoming more sensitive and need to make changes accordingly. So what happens to a psychic, empath, light worker person that goes through hard times, as they move on in their life, guess what becomes more and more fulfilled? Your sensitivity. You become more and more and more psychic as your soul evolves, lifetime, even within the lifetime, and then lifetime to lifetime. So please consider that your sensitivity has a need to be looked at as a priority, and so does making sure the foundation matches the desired outcomes for peace and anything else you desire in the future. So please be at peace. Take that breath, set a timer on your phone, take that breath and align with peace as often as possible. And I do feel a promise that that will occur. And I thank you so much, Deck 3, for being here, and I'll see you on the next Pick a Card reading. Hey Deck 4, you ready? Here we go, under the double pointed quartz crystal. We'll put that at the top of the table, and your cards. I'm going to be pulling your cards and flipping them over one at a time, getting each message in order of the way it was shuffled. Without me looking at the card beforehand, I want to be right there in the narrative with you as it unfolds. So we're going to start out with the big whammy. This is the surrender deck, so it's going to talk about action and work right away. Oh, this is really clearly defined. So Deck 4, your first card right off the gate here is surrender your fear of change. Dun, 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 dun. Change. The universe is reminding you that you are cared for always, whether you're afraid of change in your job, health, relationship, or even of aging and death. Repeat the affirmation, I have faith that all is well. I think this affirmation is going to be telling through the whole reading. So I almost want to say it after every card. So Spirit makes me feel like we should do. I have faith that all is well. Here's the thing. Change is big and it can occur in many different areas of our life, but it's not a surprise. I feel like I need to just point out this aspect that from a psychic perspective, after reading people for 15 years and they get to the point where change is either kind of being their hands being forced, or this universe is scooping them up, or they're really trying to take initiative to shift the things in their life that need shifting. It's like change is never really easy. But people do, I think, know it's coming. Do you ever feel like a change is coming? And it could be a good change, or it could be letting go of something that's hard to let go of, but you've been feeling it in your idle thoughts or underneath your skin, or just, in moments when you're connecting with someone, it pops up or whatever. I think that what I'm trying to say here is whatever situation for you, Deck 4, that Spirit's speaking to you about, that your future self is saying, babe, this thing we got to change. I want to tell you right now that I don't think you're watching this video and not knowing already what I'm talking about. Spirit makes me acknowledge to you right now, and your future self is saying, I've been talking to you about this. You know this has been coming, or that this was the right answer, even if it's been hard or you haven't done it yet. So then let's keep going and take a look at what we have. The next deck is from The Universe Has Your Back, and it says, I'm unapologetic about what I desire and trust that I will focus on, whatever I focus on will grow. So the unapologetic part is, it speaks to me so much, because sometimes changing things, it's almost like we're choosing between what we think we have to do or what we feel like we're responsible to do for others, or sometimes it's like the whole world would fall apart if I didn't show up in the, like jobs. People want to change jobs all the time. I talk about people in readings all the time. People want to change jobs and they think the place will fall apart without me. Even if they work for a family business, I still say, babe, you got to be unapologetic about the fact that you don't want to be there. Or maybe you want to be there, but it's like the time is closing and you kind of feel like there's something else on the horizon. What I'm saying is I hope, deck number 4, that you consider what your true desires are and know that this change or this push or this nudge or this forcing of your hand, sometimes it feels like that, the rug's pulled out under you, to the Tower card in the tarot. Sometimes when we see that happening, you have to know that it's in alignment with that of your future desired outcomes, even if it doesn't feel like it, even if it causes a lot of strife in the moment. And they're just saying that rather than wait for the universe to pull that Tower card and crash it down, what about standing up and working on that part where you get to be unapologetic about, I'm hearing, like, what you don't want to do, what you want to change from, even if you don't know what the next thing is or how to do it. Even going on record and being unapologetic about what does not vibe with you is a amazing place to start. So let's see what else we have. Let go. Holy crap. Walk away from this situation in order to resolve it. So I do feel that there are a lot of circumstances. This is a general reading. So I feel a lot of you, it's a relationship. I feel a lot of you, it's a job. I feel a lot of you, it's caregiving for your family members. I feel a lot of you, the change is in a behavior or a habit. That's why I said I needed to say, Spirit was saying, and your future self was saying, babe, we already know what it is. So please take in account what your message is, and Spirit's channeling the right thing for me so that it makes sense for you guys all in your general reading, but pay attention to the way this is speaking to you, okay? Because letting go is a huge part of the change that your future self is begging you and begging you and begging you, saying, please, 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 now let this go, because in the future, I'm trapped by it. If we don't let this go, babe, then here we are, still doing the same thing, experiencing possibly even like worse results, right? Because some things really decline when you don't make change when it's ripe to do so. So it is about letting something go. Let's take a look at your animal spirit. Very fierce spirit. It is the panther, and it says, reclaim your power. I feel for you, deck 4, and this has a 44 on it. So yes, we're talking deck 4, synchronicities. Pay attention to Panther Spirit about reclaiming your power, because I just feel a lot of people in deck 4 have just had a program that involved the needs of others for a really long time, or the needs of what they thought other people wanted from them. And I just feel that it is time to make it about you again. That's where the unapologetic was coming in. It's time to make it about you and what you know you want or don't want, okay? It's time to get back to you. How do you feel? What do you want? What feels good to you? What doesn't feel good to you? What do you desire for the future? And what is your deal breaker? What are you like, I will not want that in my future at all? And to pay attention to that, because that is what we're talking about, changing and letting go. The next card is actions speak loudly. Express your love through your actions. So this card is really saying, if I'm to be honest with you, deck 4, I think you deserve that from me. And I hear this in my readings a lot, so this is not an unfamiliar piece of advice that I hear from someone's future self. It's, if you're not careful, babe, it ain't gonna change. If you're not deliberate about changing or letting go, we gonna be in the same boat in the future. So I ask you, and I think I mentioned this earlier, I ask you, if you were today, if this was your life from now on to eternity, your future looked just like your today did. I'm talking about your body, I'm talking about your passions, I'm talking about the initiative you've taken, the risk you've taken, the things you've accomplished, the things you've checked off the bucket list, and the things you haven't. If your next 10 years looked exactly like today looked, would that satisfy you? And the answer is probably no. So your future self is calling you out and saying, babe, if you ain't careful, none of it's gonna get done. You'll be in the same situation over and over and over until you do take those actions. So it's very important that you consider making a list of every little thing that you feel like you do have control over, even if you don't have the elixir, the magic answer to the scenario. Even just taking inventory of what you do have control over, or setting a time limit or plan, or researching a way out of your scenario. All of these things are huge steps in the right direction, okay? And the last card is leadership, Holy Spirit. I love this because Holy Spirit, spirit, future self, what have you, they want to let you know, it's so, I wish you could see this picture. It's a ladder, and the first guy's holding the light, the second one is got his hand in hand above and below, and the last one's being pulled up. And it's like spirit, your future self, and your present self, all in tandem, moving you. And no, you're not leading. No, you're not holding the light. Your future self is leading the way, because if you're leading the way and you're doing it without them or without spirit, it's like, yes, it is up to you to figure it out. But in truth, you don't have to have it all figured out if you look to the future for advice. Now, let me be clear, from a psychic perspective, when you look to the future for advice, it doesn't always give you the entire picture. It doesn't always give you the whole game plan. It'll tell you the next step. It'll help you think about it. Even if by thinking about it, it stresses you, it's meant to actually just be a piece of information that is being shared, and so be it if you're uncomfortable with it, because the change is uncomfortable, but it will take moving past that to get it done. So instead of ignoring it, Spirit will give you that message. So if something's been nagging, deck 4, if something's been just under the surface, you've been thinking about it, I pray that you find the strength and the willingness to be willing. I pray that you turn it over to your future self to guide you as to where you're going to be the happiest and what decisions that future happy self made to get them there. And they give you the play-by-play, and then have Spirit be the light that shines and guides your future self and your present self in the scenarios you want. And do me a favor, if you do feel information coming down the line, it's not meant to freak you out. It's not meant to make you, have self-judgment and loathing for your scenario and your outcomes now and your effectiveness or whatever. It's meant to help you get the information you need to have the perspective on the change that you need. It's not meant to make you feel worse. It's meant so it's like, let's look at it. It's like your finances. It's like making a budget. It's easier when you don't make a budget and realize how much you spend on Starbucks or something, right? But then when you look at it, it's like it's really uncomfortable to look at how much you spend, but now you know, and the change is like so much more possible to occur. So take inventory and account of these little things that have been going through your mind and your heart. Accept that you want to take a look at them, be unapologetic about why the motivations for those things may be there, and then look for the guided action to make the change. That's all for this pick a card reading. Thank you so much for hopping over to the channel, watching the video. I hope you received the message you were supposed to receive. And if you did get something that you'd like to comment on below, please let me know what you thought. And do like the video and make sure you subscribe. All these things helps my channel get viewed and gets me able to make more and more videos for you each week. Also, I want to invite you to hop on over to tananewberry.com, where I have a free psychic training 6-day video mini course free for you. Just put in your email and you'll get lessons from me for 6 days on removing your psychic reading block. I hope you have a wonderful, powerful rest of your day. Bye-bye.